Are you looking forward to the movie being released today?
I am indeed.
We're going to talk today about your upcoming drama, The Phenom, in which you star alongside Ethan Hawke and Paul Giamatti. First of all, how was it for you being a part of such a wonderful ensemble?
I really got lucky. I read a great script by Noah Bushell, and then I got to sit down with him and talk about it. And we both really clicked with each other, and he believed in me for this role. A few months later, we found ourselves shooting, and now it's coming out, so it's just been an incredible experience.
Well, you play the part of Hopper Gibson, a talented young and up-and-coming baseball pitcher who's struggling with the game and who winds up talking with a sports psychologist where memories of his abusive father surface. It's a very deep and psychological subject matter. What was it about the script that made you want to do it?
First of all, mainly for me, whenever there's a click with something like resonates, and I don't really know how to describe it other than I just connected with the story. By the 30th page or so, I felt like I could figure out what Hopper was going to say next, and that's whenever I really get excited. But beyond that, I think just having no knowledge of what they call the yips in baseball, and there's actually a lot of musicians who deal with this as well. I mean, I'm sure it spreads across any art form and sport, but that left me very interested.
I have to admit that your performance, I mean, there were some great performances in the movie, but I just have to say that your performance is what kept me glued to the screen, and that doesn't happen very often, so I just wanted to let you know that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think that it was an interesting thing to figure out and to play because Noah really wanted nothing on it,
Yeah.
It was all about pulling it back, and he described that to me as if there's an empty chair in the corner of a room, and that's where you would find Hopper. And nothing gets in and nothing goes out. And it's kind of like a trap that way, door. And so this is the first time I ever did anything like that, and I had a lot of trouble, so that's all thanks to Noah.
You had three big emotional scenes throughout the movie. The first was with Sophie Kennedy Clark, who played your girlfriend, Dorothy, and then with Dr. Mobley, played by Paul Giamatti, and the final scene of the film was with your father, played by Ethan Hawke. I loved all three scenes, but the last two specifically were absolutely heartbreaking. Out of all three, did you have a particular favorite and why?
They all had their own interesting aspects, but I really was surprised by the one with Ethan because I wasn't expecting to have those feelings kick in the way that they did. I didn't really know what the scene was about. I think we also might have even wrote it at the last minute, or we needed it. It was a nice way to wrap everything up, but and then again, like not wrap anything up, I think was also a point to it. But that one was one that really surprised me as to what happened between us. It was really neat, and I think it was surprising too because of what Ethan did. But I really loved all of those guys, and I loved every one of those scenes. So it's a tough one to pick, but that one was the most surprising for sure.
Yeah, like when you see the movie, you realize just what kind of a hard ass Ethan is, and then that last scene, like I said, I found it really heartbreaking that you actually see some emotion coming out of this man who, for years, has told his son no emotion through the game or in real life. So, like you, I agree, it was a really, really good, touching scene.
Yeah, and I think that was like Noah. Now, you don't see how the movie's going to look when you're shooting it, and now I know what he was after with that. After staying so far away with the camera, focusing on other people, shooting it in a unique way, and it really does make that last scene much more powerful because you just get hints at where they really didn't change that much. If you were to watch that scene in a different movie, you might expect that to happen in the second act or in the first act or something like that, but that was the final frame of the movie where, hey, why did you come and see me?
Well, like you said, it's a way of wrapping it up and a way of not wrapping it up. I don't always like movies that kind of put a neat bow at the very end. but I wasn't expecting that. And the performance between you and Ethan made it believable, and that there is room and there is time for him to change, you know, and I just thought it was a really great scene. In the film, you play an up-and-coming athlete who's earning good money and making a name for himself in the public eye, and he has a couple of run-ins with the paparazzi. As an actor, have you been unfortunate enough to experience that in real life?
No, not really. I mean, personally, I haven't had anything that would have happened that would have led me to a reaction that would have been frustration. I just don't. It's a rare occurrence. It's also usually with other people that I'm working with or when I'm on a set. But it doesn't really bother me. I think a lot of people do a good job of recognizing that it's a part of the business that you're in. However, if you were, you know, somebody like Justin Bieber or, I don't know, Britney Spears, the people who have become vilified for their reactions to that, like Kanye West, those guys don't really leave their house without an entourage of people kind of waiting to see when they'll snap. So I think that that would, I'm sure I would have the same reaction, if not sooner. I couldn't keep it together that well under those conditions, but
right.
I have not had that experience yet.
Well, here's hoping that you never do.
I mean, I've seen it. I've been on set with people who have, and just randomly through. I definitely watched it happen, and it's a tricky, it's a tightrope for sure.
You've been in the movie business for over 10 years now. Was there a specific film or performance by a particular actor that made you want to act?
It's really random why I wanted to start acting. I just saw the kid in Jurassic Park, the original Jurassic Park, and I was, you know, however many years old, probably around 10. I remember calling 411 and trying to get his number so I could call him and ask him how he got in the movie. I had no concept of the fact that his parents probably, you know, brought him to auditions, but at that point I didn't even know what an audition was, so it just seemed like the most logical way to figure it out would be just to call him and say, hey, how did you do this? I really want to have that happen. And I really want to be in movies. After that, a lot of actors have inspired me as I've gotten older. But, I mean, I think Daniel Day-Lewis just does it like nobody else. And Meryl Streep does it like nobody else. They just completely transform without losing their minds. A lot of people seem to, like, become different people in the entertainment industry. They seem to have done it with a lot of grace. And on top of that, they're just some of the best out there. Definitely Ethan and Paul being two of those very, very much so.
Okay, well, Johnny, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. The Phenom arrives in theaters, video on demand, and digital today, June 24. Thanks so much for talking to us, and best of luck with your career.
Thank you so much. Nice talking to you.